This is how Itana spoke about Carlos Alcaraz before the rumors about their romance surfaced. In recent days, Aitana Ocaña's sentimental life has captured media attention, especially after the revelation of her possible relationship with tennis player Carlos Alcaraz. This coincides with another piece of news that has surprised many: the reconciliation between the singer and Miguel Bernardo. The relationship between Itana and Carlos Alcaraz. Rumors about a possible romance between Itana and Carlos Alcaraz arise after the program Ni Que Fuéramos, on 10, hinted that the relationship of the Catalan singer with Sebastián Yatra, to whom she had been linked in the media, did not actually exist, but was instead a tactic to disguise the romance of the Mon Amour singer with the tennis player. Collaborators of the mentioned show revealed that the relationship between Itana and Carlos was closer than it seemed. Although not much was known publicly, it seems that the love between them began to grow in a discreet environment. The singer and the tennis player would have shared moments together without the press capturing them, until the interest in both figures intensified. Then, according to the rumors, Alcaraz's circle would have pressured the athlete, asking him to focus on his career and not let his personal life affect his performance on the court. If Itana had wanted, it would have been known. They were at a moment when it was said she was with Yatra, and Alcaraz is a friend of Yatra, Kiko Matamoros stated. This, whatever the case may be, has brought to light the words Itana dedicated to Carlos Alcaraz in an interview with David Brancano on La Resistencia in September 2023. The singer mentioned with excitement that the first concert attended by the tennis player from El Palmar was hers. Itana then hinted at a special bond between them. He had never been to a concert. It made me very happy. He told me he had a good time, Itana said. The reconciliation of Itana with Miguel Bernardo. At the same time, this same week, the reconciliation between Itana and Miguel Bernardo has been confirmed, after images of both in a very close and affectionate attitude came to light as they left the residence where the actor lives in Madrid. The end of their relationship, it is worth recalling, was made public in December 2022, coinciding with the release and promotion of their first joint series, La Última, on Disney+. Since then, their contact had been practically non-existent in the eyes of the Social Chronicle. However, last November, the couple coincided in the Valencian town of Catarroja as volunteers to help those affected by the Dana. In addition to collaborating with Chef Jose Andres' NGO, World Central Kitchen, they also actively participated in cleanup tasks. According to various sources, this reunion would have been key to bringing Itana and Miguel Bernardo closer together again, and it is speculated that it was at that moment when their reconciliation began to take shape. Since then, they have been seen several times in Madrid, showing evident complicity. The great generational rival of Alcaraz crosses paths with Sinner. Holger Rune has achieved an incredible comeback against Miomir Kekmanovic to win in 5 sets and will be Jannik Sinner's rival in the round of 16 of the Australian Open next Monday. In few sports is the mind as important as in tennis, because no matter how skilled a player is, if they are not able to stay mentally strong during the many hours a match lasts, they can be overcome by difficult moments. And one of the great examples of this is Holger Rune. The Dane, of exactly the same age as Carlos Alcaraz, barely a few days older than the Spaniard, has been pointed out since childhood as the Spaniard's great rival, but his poor mindset is making it difficult for him to establish himself in the elite, despite having reached the 4th position in the ATP rankings. Nonetheless, at the Australian Open, he is showing his best game and is already in the round of 16, where he will face the worst possible rival, Jannik Sinner. Carlos Alcaraz faces his demons in Australia. The Mercian will have to face Jack Draper, a rival who has already caused him headaches in their previous encounters. The Australian Open is advancing at a dizzying pace and is already facing the round of 16 of the competition. In this tournament, Carlos Alcaraz is presenting a strong candidacy to fight for the title. He has already recognized on several occasions that this is his clearest goal for 2025, as it is the only Grand Slam he has yet to add to his record. After overcoming Alexander Shevchenko and Yoshihito Nishioka convincingly and defeating Nuno Borges in a very demanding duel, Alcaraz will now face one of the rivals who has caused him the most headaches. It is Jack Draper, who defeated the Spaniard in their last match and presents a serious challenge for Carlitos. Carlos Alcaraz defeats Novak Djokovic at the Australian Open. Despite Zverev pointing out the Australian Open's preference for the Serbian, the Spaniard has prevailed when it comes to choosing schedules over the 10-time champion of the Australian tournament. Novak has a bit more power, probably Carlos too. Their requests come first, and then I go 3rd, 4th, 5th, or whatever, and I get the open slots, complained the world number 2, Alexander Zverev, earlier this week when asked about the times he plays at the 2025 Australian Open and why he went from playing his first 2 matches at the Rod Laver Arena to playing at the Margaret Court in the 3rd round. The Mercian player himself, after his second match held on the second most important court, made it clear that he didn't care where he played or what status he was given, but rather the time. I like playing on the Margaret court, but I also want to play on the Rod Laver. I don't like playing at night, I prefer playing during the day because I recover better. If that means playing on the Margaret court, I'll do it. In the early rounds, I prioritize the time over the court. I don't want to have little sleep and go to bed late, warned the Spaniard. For now, his wishes are orders, and although Zverev's complaint pointed to Carlos Alcaraz as the second option, the Australian Open's organizers have given him priority over Novak Djokovic, the player who has won the tournament the most times and who would be Alcaraz's opponent if both advance this Sunday in the round of 16 of the 2025 Australian Open. Djokovic also doesn't like playing at night and has complained on more than one occasion that, despite being the player with the most Grand Slam titles and a living legend of the sport, others' wishes have been prioritized over his. This will be the case this Sunday, as Alcaraz has been scheduled for the first men's slot at the Rod Laver Arena, while Djokovic will have to finish later. Alcaraz wins the fight for the daytime slot. Alcaraz not only wants to play early because of the time but also because the conditions are better for his game in the heat. The conditions are fast with the heat, but the ball could be heavier, said Alcaraz, referring to the greater effort required when the Australian sun sets. Alcaraz's match is scheduled for no earlier than 5:30 a.m. Spanish time, and Djokovic's for no earlier than 9 a.m. Considering that there is an 11-hour time difference with Melbourne, the Serbian starting time will be at least 8 p.m. local time and will end at night, no matter how quickly it goes. Carlos Alcaraz's heartwarming gesture with a young fan at the Australian Open. Carlos Alcaraz is making steady progress in the Australian Open, the only Grand Slam title missing from his collection, after defeating Portugal's Nuno Borges 6-2, 6-4, 6-7, 3, and 6-2 in the third round. However, it was an off-court moment before the match that captured everyone's attention. The Mercian tennis star had a touching interaction with a young boy who wanted to meet him. Before the match, as Alcaraz was making his way to the court, carrying his racket bag and multiple rackets through the hallways of the Australian Open, a young boy approached him with a big smile, clearly eager to meet his hero. The boy, named John, was visibly excited, and Alcaraz, despite being moments away from his match, took the time to connect with him. Instead of merely greeting the child and moving on, Alcaraz went above and beyond. He walked with the young fan through the hallways, talking to him and creating a moment of shared joy. The two eventually reached the court, where John could hardly contain his excitement, his eyes lighting up as he stood alongside his favorite player. This touching moment not only highlights Alcaraz's exceptional talent on the court but also his humility and kindness off it. Taking time to inspire young fans, especially in such a meaningful way, demonstrates his commitment to the sport and its future generations. Moments like these are a reminder that athletes are not just competitors but also role models who can leave a lasting impact on their fans, no matter how young they are. John's story is one of many that shows why Alcaraz is adored by tennis enthusiasts worldwide. His ability to make time for his supporters, even during the intensity of a Grand Slam tournament, reflects the kind of champion he is, not just in tennis but in character. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, because here, at Tennis Zone, we are dedicated to offering you the best content for the best audience. We offer in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and exhaustive coverage of everything related to the world of tennis. Join our community and be part of the excitement of the tournaments with us. Additionally, at Tennis Zone, we strive to offer you updated, high-quality content about players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in the world of tennis.